Hello and welcome once again to this week's bulletin of news and engineering information from the IBA. Today, in our second visit to the CAI exhibition and seminars, we look around some of the stands to see what new products are on offer this year. On the radio front, a new relay for Orchard FM near Yeovil. In community radio, there's Airport Information Radio serving Heathrow and Gatwick, and in Glasgow, East End Radio. In transmitter news, this week's work affecting existing stations and details of a new television relay, Redbrook in Gloucestershire.
The IBA's London headquarters was once again the venue for this year's CAI exhibition and seminars. With BSB now up and running, satellite reception and distribution equipment featured prominently on most of the stands and was the main talking point throughout the two-day event. Block conversion of BSB's DMAC transmissions to a range of frequencies between band 2 and band 4 is now firmly established, and most of the SMATV companies can provide such equipment. LabGear have developed the FlatV system for the distribution of scrambled satellite channels. Product manager John Summerfield explains.
This is the LabGear FlatV concept. It's designed to cover smaller systems where distribution of encrypted signals is required, and it actually puts the onus of decoding on the customer rather than in the head-end equipment. The basic system involves standard conversion of BSB signals in their MAC format down to VHF, and then at the customer's outlet they were up-converted back up to IF again. The difference between this and other approaches which are similar is that we can interleave other Astra signals, or other satellite signals in this case, in between the BSB signals, enabling a further 4 channels to be received along with the BSB signals, and these are then again up-converted at the customer's outlet, so that the customer then buys their own receivers. And this is all programmed via software in a power supply controlled through a handset. Once program is complete, the handset's taken away and no adjustments can be made to the rack by customers.
Wolsey, on the other hand, decodes BSB's signals at the head end, and there was considerable interest in the equipment being demonstrated by sales executive David Hawley.
Yes, this is the Wolsey SMATV BSB receiver, a contract awarded exclusively to 2 companies, one of them being Philips, ourselves manufacturing the other. It's a DMAC decoder receiver. You've got a system where you come in off a BSB dish at satellite IF. The receiver then receives at IF, decodes the DMAC signal, processes using the DMAC decoding system. Several features there, one being the diagnostics, whereby you can call up on the screen several diagnostic functions, allowing the installer to check on certain points on installation. The authorization button, therefore allowing an on-screen display of the unique authorization number of each receiver.
With modern SMATV equipment becoming ever more sophisticated, some installers may like to take advantage of the packaged head ends provided by Televez, which only require a main supply and the output from the satellite aerial. Televez UK Managing Director Martin Turner outlines the system to a prospective client.
We have here a typical SMATPAC head end showing BSB and Sky for distribution in a block of flats. We've got eight satellite channels coming out at 1 volt. And we supply the whole lot as a package with leads, amplifiers, splitters, everything brought onto a board, packaged and supplied to the customer direct as a total custom-built package.
Channel polarization on SMATV systems is no longer a problem, with a new device exhibited by Global Communications. Roger Pannell explains.
The Global Mini Magic Switch is a new product used for distributing the 2 polarizations of Astra to 4 or more receivers. 2 LMBs on the antenna, 1 on vertical, 1 on horizontal, connects onto the switch. The signals go off to 4 receivers, and each receiver can connect onto either vertical or horizontal. When the receiver gives out 13 volts, it connects onto the vertical LMB. When it gives out 18 volts, it connects onto the horizontal LMB. The switches can be multiplied up to be used for 4, 8, 12, etc. receivers.
Of course, all these clever devices have to be connected together, and a new generation of cables has evolved for this very purpose. Marketing Director for Webro, Barry Sweeting.
Completely new range of satellite antenna cables, starting with the single RF cable, the H125, moving on to the polarizer cable, which is 3 cores for the polarization. The second polarized cable, which is separated, still carrying the RF double screen cable. The one with the actuator cores. The satellite cable, which is the RF cable, plus the polarizer cable, plus the actuator cores, and then the satellite cable triplet, which carries all the cores in one cable.
And every system has to be tested. As in previous years, there was no shortage of equipment aids for the SMAT-V installer. For under £1,000, 2 very compact spectrum analyzers are being marketed by Oak Brew Components. A UHF spectrum can also be displayed, in addition to the received pictures from both terrestrial and satellite transmissions. So another CAI exhibition has passed, and it is now left to the viewer to judge just how successful satellite television will become for all of us over the next few years.
NICAM digital stereo next, and the latest transmitter to start radiating test signals is Black Hill in central Scotland. Dependent relays will also carry NICAM, both on ITV and Channel 4, but not Torosay and its relays. Official service for Black Hill NICAM is Friday the 29th of June.
This is the time of year when we do most of our mast and aerial maintenance, and there's rather a lot of special announcements this week, starting with ITV and Channel 4 from Winter Hill in Lancashire, which are continuing on reduced power during aerial replacement work. In northwest Scotland, all Grampian area stations on the islands and west coast will be off the air from 7:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. on 2 days this week and next week for aerial work at one of the link stations feeding Aitchel and Scrieag. The West Runton relay in North Norfolk will be off the air each morning up to and including Thursday from 8 until 12 noon for weather-dependent mast work.
In southern Scotland, the Kirkconnell and New Cumnock relays will be off from 6 a.m. to midday on 3 mornings between today and Friday for mast and aerial work. Anglia ITV and Channel 4 from the Luton relay will be off the air this morning from 6 until midday, tomorrow from 11 to 11:30 a.m. and on Thursday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in order to refurbish the aerial system. In South Devon, both the Slapton and Kingsbridge relays will be off today from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. due to electricity board work in the area. And in North Devon, TSW and Channel 4 from Westward Ho will be off from 9:30 to 10:30 this morning for an electrical inspection.
Tomorrow morning in South Wales, the Bargoed relay will be off from 8:30 to 9 for electricity board work. A few miles away, Treharris and Bedlinog will also be off from 8:30 to 9 and then again from 3 until 4 p.m. for electricity board work. To the north of Derby, the Belper relay is scheduled to be off tomorrow from 6:30 a.m. to 12:30 lunchtime for a BBC aerial overhaul.
In East Sussex, TVS and Channel 4 from Newhaven will be off between 10 and 10:30 tomorrow morning for electrical work. On Thursday, the Hartington relay in the Peak District is due off from 10 a.m. until midday for BBC aerial measurements. In Coventry, the Olseley Park relay will be off from 9 until 10 a.m. on Thursday for mains work.
In Cornwall, TSW and Channel 4 from the Mevagissey relay will be off from 9:30 to 10:30 on Thursday morning for an electrical inspection. On Friday, the Welland relay in Hertfordshire is due off from 6 until midday for an aerial overhaul. And looking ahead to next week, the Slapton relay in South Devon will be off on several mornings from 6 to midday for mast work. In South Wales, the Rumney relay near Merthyr Tydfil is due off from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. next Monday for aerial work.
Also next Monday, the Ashburton relay in Devon will be off for electricity board work from 10:15 a.m. to 1:15 p.m. And finally, back to this Thursday, and in the early hours between 2:15 and 6 o'clock, all BSB channels will be liable to interruptions for in-orbit testing.
On to new television relays now, and in Gloucestershire, a station for Redbrook is due on the air at the end of this week. It's for about 320 people, most of whom have been depending on a self-help active deflector. HTV West will be the regional ITV service on Channel 42, with Channel 4 on 52. Aerials will need to be Group B and vertically polarised. That's Redbrook on the England-Wales border, south-east of Monmouth, due on the air on Friday.
Independent local radio next, and a new relay for Orchard FM is due on the air on 97.1 MHz with mixed polarisation at the end of this week. There are no immediate plans for split programming, but this relay will extend VHF coverage to areas not previously served by Orchard's transmitter at Mendip on 102.6 MHz. The new relay is located at Cheadington, about 4 miles to the southeast of Crewkerne, and coverage includes Yeovil, Sherborne, parts of Ilminster, Crewkerne, Broad Windsor and the outskirts of Lyme Regis and Bridport. Programmes will begin on Friday, but are liable to interruption for engineering work during the first week.
Incremental radio now, and a new medium wave service for people using Heathrow and Gatwick is due on test this week on 1584 kHz. Airport Information Radio will have a studio at each location with completely separate programming for both airports. Information will be aimed mainly at people travelling to the airports by road, with updates about hold-ups due to traffic conditions, terminal parking and flight arrival departures. Programmes from both studios are due to start at 11 a.m. on the 25th of June.
And on VHF there's East End Radio for Glasgow, now on test on 103.5 MHz with vertical polarisation from Ruchazy to the east of the city. The predicted coverage area will extend from Carmyle in the south to Muirhead in the north. Speech-based programmes, which should begin at 10 a.m. next Monday the 25th, will be mainly for people in the 25 to 55 age group. There are also special schedules planned for teenagers, who make up the total potential audience of 390,000.
And that's all for this week, but do get in touch if you have any technical queries on independent broadcasting. Our address is Engineering Information, Independent Broadcasting Authority, Crawley Court, Winchester, Hampshire, SO21 2QA. Our telephone number is Winchester, that's 0962 822 444. Office hours are 8:30 to 4:30, at other times there's an answering machine. We hope you'll join us again next Tuesday morning at 5:45. And our apologies to viewers in the Midlands who missed the programme last week due to an overnight problem at Central Studios. In the meantime, from Bruce Randall and from me, Janet Salkeld, goodbye from Crawley Court.